Life and death are the great mysteries of existence. Every soul that walks this earth is destined to face these two moments, birth and death, each one a doorway, each one a threshold. In this journey between these two thresholds, the soul dances with the divine, seeking truth, purpose, and ultimately freedom. We begin our journey with the first breath, emerging from the unknown into the world of form. Life is a gift, an opportunity for the soul to experience, to grow, to evolve. In every culture, every tradition, there are stories of where we come from. But one truth remains constant. Life is temporary, a passing moment in the eternal existence of the soul. The Sufis, the mystics of Islam, speak of life as a fleeting dream. To them, this world is not the true reality. It is but a reflection, a shadow of something far greater. The soul, in its essence, is eternal. It existed long before this life and will continue long after it. Yet, in the busyness of life, we forget this truth. We become lost in the distractions, in the noise, in the endless pursuit of material things. The ego, that small part of us that clings to this world, convinces us that this life is all there is. It tells us that we must hold on to our possessions, our identities, our roles. But these things are not who we are. In the quiet moments, when we turn inward, the truth becomes clear. The soul longs for something more, something beyond the temporary pleasures of this world. It longs for union with the divine, for freedom from the illusions of this life. The Sufi mystics call this longing ishq, divine love, the burning desire to return to the source. Death is often seen as an end, a final curtain, a closing of the chapter. But for the soul, death is not an ending. It is a liberation, a release from the constraints of the physical world. In Sufi mysticism, death is referred to as the bride, the moment when the soul is finally reunited with its beloved. The great Sufi poet Rumi speaks of death as a moment of celebration, not sorrow. He says, "When I die, don't cry for me. My soul will be dancing with the angels." For the mystic, death is not a time of fear, but of joy, because it is the moment when the soul is freed from the limitations of the body and merges once again with the divine essence. So what happens after death? The mystics tell us that the soul, after shedding its earthly body, returns to the realm of spirit. Free from the weight of physical form, it ascends, drawn towards the divine like a moth to a flame. This is the true home of the soul, the world of light, of pure love, of eternal peace. The Sufis believe that after death, the soul undergoes a journey. It passes through various stages, each one bringing it closer to the divine. This is not a journey of distance, but a journey of purification, a process of shedding the remnants of ego, of false identity, of attachment to this world. In death, the soul is purified, refined, and brought into a state of complete surrender. In Sufism, the ultimate goal of the soul is union with the divine. This union is known as fana, the annihilation of the self. But this is not a death in the ordinary sense. Fana is the death of the ego, the dissolution of the false self that separates us from the divine. It is the moment when the soul, free from all illusions, merges completely with the source. Yet even in this union, the soul does not lose its identity. After fana comes baka, eternal subsistence in God. The soul, now fully one with the divine, remains not as a separate being, but as a vessel of divine love. It exists eternally in the presence of the beloved, bathed in the light of pure consciousness. Why then do we fear death? The mystics tell us that the fear of death comes from a misunderstanding of life. We fear what we do not know, and death for most of us is the great unknown. But if we truly understood the nature of the soul, its eternal, indestructible essence, we would have no fear. We would see death for what it is, a return, a homecoming, a reunion with the divine. Rumi says, "Don't grieve. Anything you lose comes round in another form. The body may perish, but the soul, that spark of the divine within us, is eternal. It cannot be lost, cannot be destroyed. It only changes form, moving from one state of being to another, always moving towards the divine." To embrace death is to embrace life. The two are not opposites, but partners in the dance of existence. The Sufis teach us that by accepting the reality of death, we can live more fully. We stop clinging to the temporary and begin to appreciate the eternal. Each moment becomes precious, each breath a gift, because we know that this life, like a dream, will one day end. But the end of the dream is not the end of the dreamer. The soul continues its journey, ever moving towards the light, ever seeking the divine. This is the essence of life and death, a cycle, a rhythm, a dance between the seen and the unseen, the known and the unknown. Life and death are two steps in the eternal dance of the soul. With each step, we move closer to the divine, shedding the layers of illusion that bind us to this world. Death is not the end of the journey, but a doorway, a threshold we must cross to enter into the greater mystery of existence. And in that union, we find what we have been seeking all along: peace, freedom, and the infinite love of the divine. Life and death, two parts of the same whole, two sides of the same coin, leading us ever closer to the heart of the beloved.